Hello, everyone. A very logical day to all of you. Let's see what we have in store for today. Today's article is actually very easy, and you would be able to relate to it also. How and why? Let's see what it is about. It is one borderless. Now, like we did in the previous two, three sessions, that you need to understand the title also, and then see how you can relate it to the passage that is following, to the article that follows it. So, one borderless. What does it actually mean? So border stands for demarcation, right? Demarcation in the sense that something is separated. Like here you can see there's a slight green thing, right? So now this separates one section of the slide to the other section of the same part, right? Of the same thing. So one section related to or separated from the other, this point becomes the border. And one borderless means there is no border between these two parts of the slide. That means something that is going to go easy between the two parts, whether they are two states or two nations or what two countries, whatever it could be, right? But it is one thing that is reduced between the two, right? So one borderless इसका मतलब होता है जब borders कम हो जाते हैं या border blurred हो जाते हैं या border नहीं दिखते हैं तो उसको seamless बोलते हैं. Right? Seamlessly means without seeing any borders. Let's see now. One borderless अब किस चीज के बारे में है? So on Tuesday, the Union government unveiled India's first cross-border real-time payment system linkage connecting with Singapore's PE with the Unified Payments Interface Pay Now payment system. ठीक है, तो सिंगापुर और इंडिया इनके बीच का एक बॉर्डर है जो कि खत्म कर दिया है, गायब हो गया है. This connectivity, which will allow for the transfer of funds using only a UPI ID, mobile number, or virtual payment address, is meant to provide a low cost, real time option to users for transferring money across borders. This is an encouraging development. Here comes up main point. Considering that India is also a large recipient of remittances in 2022, remittances to India were about this much. Again, a bit of data given here. The country's digital payment system with those of the other countries, the internationalization of the digital payments architecture will help bring down both the cost and the time associated with such transfers, bringing benefits to migrant workers, students, and professionals, among others. Point given, what has happened given, right? So, Singapore plus India, there is a single UPI payment, right? Without borders. That means the connectivity would be seamless, right? Now, because the connectivity has no borders now, as I said, seamless. So it will be quick, right? So it will be quick. That means not much time spent. Plus, it will cost low. तो कॉस्ट और पेस इससे डिफरेंस पड़ेगा. अगर बॉर्डर नहीं होता है तो टाइम भी कम लगेगा और कॉस्ट भी ज्यादा नहीं होगा. दिस इज गोइंग टू बेनिफिट. ये हो गया, दिस इज गोइंग टू बेनिफिट. नाउ व्हेन यू मार्क दिस, you can combine the whole sentence that who all are going to be benefited and why because of the the amount of remittances that is quite high. इतना ज्यादा है रेमिटेंसेस, मतलब बाहर फॉरेन कंट्री से अपनी कंट्री में पैसा आना, इट इज ह्यूज. सो बिकॉज ऑफ द ह्यूज रेमिटेंसेस, this system or seamless connectivity between Singapore and the India's interface is going to benefit migrant workers, students, professionals, and many others. So all these points taken together, you can form a single sentence here. इतना चीज हमें समझ में आ जाना चाहिए था. अब देखें इसका मेन पॉइंट क्या रहा. ये रहा. ठीक है, यूपीआई आईडी है, सिंगल यूपीआई आईडी है, कुछ भी हो. लो कॉस्ट रियल टाइम, दैट इज व्हाट इज सेइंग. कॉस्ट भी कम एंड टाइम भी ज्यादा नहीं लगेगा. To users for transferring money across borders, this is what you have kept in mind, and this is encouraging. That means it is a positive thing. Why is it positive? Because this will bring down the cost as well as the time associated with such transfers, bringing benefits to the people, right? Next, introduction of UPI in 2016-17 led to a dramatic change in the electronic payments landscape of the country. Along with the jam trinity of Jandhan, Aadhaar, and mobile phones, this payment architecture has been instrumental in facilitating the dramatic growth of digital payments in the country. Instrumental means something that is helping or aiding. Instrument का मतलब होता है जरिया. तो if somebody is instrumental in your success, मतलब वो बंदा जरिया बना आपके सक्सेस के रास्ते पे, right? Facilitating is making something very easy, and this is something that you have done many times. The dramatic growth of digital payments in the country. उसने कहा था dramatic change हुआ था 16-17 में, फिर dramatic growth भी हुआ है. पहले लोग नहीं करते थे ऑनलाइन पेमेंट, अब सारे लोग ऑनलाइन पेमेंट करते हैं. With the hawkers and the vendors are also included now. So over the years, various reports by the RBI have documented the significant increase in digital payments transactions in the country, with per person digital transaction growing both in numbers of value and volume. Contactless payments also witnessed a surge during the pandemic. In fact, as per another study, roughly one-third of households surveyed had transacted digitally for the first time during the lockdown. In January 2023, roughly 8 billion transactions were carried out on the UPI platform, whose value touched almost 13 lakh crore. In comparison, January 2020, just prior to the pandemic. Prior is a comparative word that means just before the pandemic. 13 billion transactions were routed through the UPI platform, which touched rupees 2.1 lakh crore in value. This part of the paragraph is giving you data, but this data is establishing what? The dramatic change that had been brought about. And because of this dramatic change, the volume of transactions that is going on, this volume has increased. This paragraph, on the whole, is the reasoning, is the justification of the point that was made in the first paragraph, that this combination, this removal of the border between Singapore and the UPI thing, right? This is actually going to benefit so many people because all this has been going on. The dramatic changes and the dramatic growth in the online and payments. So this is a justification or a reasoning of the previous part here, that it is going to benefit so many people. उसी का continuation था ये वाला paragraph, and it is facilitating the dramatic growth of digital payments in the country, aided by a conducive regulatory framework. Right? So this becomes the important sentence in this part of the paragraph. Next part of the same paragraph gives convenience of real-time transfer of payments, zero cost framework for users. The rapid expansion in the acceptance touchpoints have encouraged its widespread adoption. Because it is so easy, there are more people who are embracing this idea or this technique. This has also helped aided in accelerating financial inclusion by providing access to financial services at low cost. फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन का मतलब होता है कि अगर हम सिर्फ पैसों का ट्रांसफर करते हैं तो इसके साथ साथ और फाइनेंशियल द थिंग्स और the anything related to finances is required there, whatever services are required there in that field, even that can be promoted at a low cost. So to begin with, only select banks such as SBI and ICICI Bank have been allowed by the central bank to facilitate these transfers, while the more popular payment platforms such as PhonePe and Google Pay have been excluded from the ambit of this framework. Perhaps over time, these platforms will also be brought under this framework, aiding in its widespread adoption. मतलब अभी अगर हमें किसी दूसरे कंट्री में ट्रांसफर करना है पैसा, तो हम SBI और ICICI बैंक को ही अलाउ किया गया है that they can come up with this help in the transfer of money, or to go for the money payments. Google Pay and PhonePe से नहीं होगा. So they have been excluded from the ambit. Ambit means the area of control. Now, over time, these platforms will also be brought under this framework, aiding in its widespread adoption. And as the restrictions on such transactions are eased, and this arrangement is extended to other payment systems across the world, perhaps to countries which account for a sizable share of cross-border transactions, it will help facilitate ट्रेड ट्रैवल रेमिटेंस रिलेटेड ट्रांजैक्शंस एंड उसने कर दिया कि अभी तो सिर्फ एक कंट्री के साथ किया है इंडिया ने सिंगापुर के साथ ये रखा है पर अगर इंडिया बाकी की कंट्रीज के साथ भी शुरू कर देती है जल्दी तो all these people are going to be benefited. Why? Because the remittances or cross-border transactions are quite high. Right? So is this understood now? It was a comparatively easy passage, so we don't have many words also here. This is the important point, as I said earlier, last part of the paragraph and this sentence. These are important. So you can combine all these points together now and come up with the main idea, that is UPI Pay Now linkage provides a low-cost real-time option for cross-border transaction. It sets template for the future transactions. Matlab, the last sentence had also said no, that if India uses it with the other countries also, right? This will be a great help to the people. Why? Because of the transactions, the future transactions that are definitely going to increase. जब हम ऐसे फ्यूचर की बात करते हैं ना कि देखो ऐसा होगा उसके लिए एक वर्ड आता है दैट इज कॉल्ड envisage, right? So envisage would mean you have this word viz and viz is related to see, तो visual, vision, तो फ्यूचर का कुछ देखना कि क्या होगा वो विजन होता है, तो envisage becomes the word. Now we have the word Trinity. As I told you, there are just a few words, two, three words, I think so. I gave you in the discussion only. And the rest of the words I've written here. Now, Trinity, if you remember, it was with Jam Trinity. Right? तो ट्रिनिटी का मतलब होता है जिसे हम हिंदी में कहते हैं ना त्रिदेव. तो त्रिदेव क्या होता है? ब्रह्मा, विष्णु, महेश. ये त्रिदेव होते हैं. तो तीन का जो ग्रुप होता है उसे ट्रिनिटी कहते हैं. तो यहां पर क्या था? जनधन योजना थी और एक ए से कौन सी आवास योजना और एक मोबाइल, ये तीन योजनाएं शुरू की गई थी, राइट? सो दे वर कॉल्ड जैम. नाउ टू थिंग्स आई एम टेलिंग यू. वन, ट्रिनिटी, you can understand what I just explained. This word jam, I think so yesterday I had given you this word acronym. तो एक्रोनिम में मैंने एग्जाम्पल दिया था तुम्हें नासा का, इसरो का. अब आई डोंट रिमेम्बर एज सच क्योंकि मुझे अभी याद है कि मैंने ये दिया है. आई हैड गिवन दिस टू यू ईदर in the mock CLAT discussion, analysis discussion, or it was in one of the editorial discussions, right? But these are called acronyms, abbreviation. या तो वो कहीं पर तो होगा या तो मैंने किसी ऑनलाइन क्लास में लिया होगा. I don't remember, but this is what I did. So JAM becomes an acronym, that is NASA and ISRO. Example है. Trinity means तीन लोग एक साथ, तो तीन के ग्रुप को Trinity बोलेंगे. Conducive is something that is favorable, right? So you have this word duct here. Duct would mean, this is a root word, duct, D-U-C-T. So duct is path, right? And con as a prefix would mean something that is together. So conducive is that yes, you can work together, so it becomes a path there. So favorable. For example, the markets of India are conducive to the FDIs, right? So it is favorable, that means. Surge, uska simple meaning hai increase, otherwise it is sudden and powerful movement will be the surge. Now with the word surge, you have heard the word insurgents also. So insurgents would be those people who would trespass and come into our country and stay, right? तो insurgents हो जाते हैं एक साथ आने वाले, पर वो surge होता है, एकदम से होता है. Now this word was rooted. ठीक है, रूट जो रहता है रास्ता, ROUTE वाला, तो रूट का पास्ट टेंस रूटेड हो जाएगा. दिस इज करेक्ट, राइट? व्हाट आई एम गिविंग यू इज अनदर वर्ड दैट इज राउटेड. व्हाई? बिकॉज द वर्ड राउट मीन्स टू डिफीट कंप्लीटली. अब सेंटेंस के हिसाब से तुम्हें समझना पड़ेगा कि कंटेक्चुअली इसे रूटेड पढ़ा जाए या इसे routed पढ़ा जाए, because the spelling is the same, right? So in the passage, it was rooted. We were talking about the path, and this is what I'm giving you is routed, that is defeated completely. ये उसका दूसरा meaning है, दूसरा ही word है. ठीक है. अब remittance is sending money from abroad. That is remittance. So India receives all that money for people who are working there, and then they send the money back to their families here. Right? So that is all in the vocabulary part today. Thank you, and see you tomorrow. Have a logical day ahead. Thank you.